Have a seat. What about you? Where do I start? Start with the best part. Do you remember the theory that we had that Sir Francis Drake faked his own death? I found the coffin.
Oh, goddamn Dorado. He was onto something big, all right.
Always ready to be enemies, eh?
Nate, be careful.
Come on. I always am.
Got shot, hanging from a derailed train in the Himalayas.
Yeah, that actually happened.
Honor among thieves.
They get us all killed.
Sure hope you know what you're doing.
I don't have the faintest idea.
You got your pride all tangled up in this thing.
Never a dull moment, huh, Sully?
You're gonna keep going, aren't you?
You don't always have to play the bloody hero, you know?
Shame we're not on the same side. I need your help. And if you want the tusk, you need mine.
Another lost city destroyed. We made it out alive. Unbelievable. Yeah. It was.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Greg Miller.
What's up, PlayStation Experience? How are you? Get louder than that! It's Uncharted! Love the enthusiasm. Welcome, everybody. I'm Greg Miller from Kinda Funny, and can you believe it has been 10 years of Uncharted? Does that make anyone else feel old? 10 years ago, I started at a little website called IGN.com, and I will never forget going to my first giant PlayStation event, and on the bus, Jeremy Dunham turned to me and said, "You're doing Naughty Dog's new game." And I said, "Awesome, what's it called?" And he said, "It doesn't have a title yet." And I'm like, "You're telling me the Jack guys are making another game and they don't know what they're calling it?" He's like, "No, but it's kind of like Lara Croft, it's kind of like Indiana Jones, you should just go see it, we'll see if it's cool." And I'm sitting there and I'm playing it, and all of these games journalists gathered around me, and we all marveled at the fact when Nate walked into water and walked out, his pant legs were wet. That's the bar of where video games were at a decade ago. If you didn't know, Uncharted came out 10 years ago this week. Since then, the franchise has sold, this is a new number, 41.7 million copies. We have a star-studded cast today for you, pretty much every voice actor who's ever been in the game. But let's start with the trio that started it all. Nate, Elena, Sully, Nolan North, Emily Rose, and Richard McGonigal.
Hi.
Here we are. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Oh, pleasure. Sit down, please, please.
Where would you like us?
Right there on that couch.
Oh,
in any
okay.
state of undress you want to be.
Oh, well.
Yeah, you get comfortable. We're here for a while talking Uncharted.
Yes.
Good.
Ah, yeah.
Can you guys believe it's been 10 years?
No.
Has it?
Yeah, no, that's what this is all about. That's the title.
Wow.
Since when?
Of Uncharted. Franchise, put you on the map.
Yeah, that little game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's surprising, to look back, having these kind of special occasions for something that we looked at it, the first one as just a job, just something that we, get our feet wet. I love telling people there's no such thing as Uncharted 1. We were just so happy that they said, "We're going to do a second one." We're like, "Yes."
Yeah.
We're going to pay off those bills. and then for something to become so historic, thank you to all the fans. I mean, really,
Thank you guys so much.
without you guys, it'd be nothing. So.
How does it work? How does becoming part of this game, this franchise, work for you, Nolan? When you get the audition, is it just another audition? Do you know anything about Naughty Dog?
No, at the time, it's actually interesting because I was meeting the team at Naughty Dog, the first offices they had. I remember going, somebody needs to open a window. It's really dark in here. And, the designers and everybody's crawling over desks to get to people. And but the one thing you saw was this collaboration from the beginning. The team, it was pretty amazing. The initial audition, I think, was the same for all of us. We didn't really know it was going to be motion capture. The first audition was in a regular voiceover studio, very small little room, and I remember Amy Hennig and Gordon Hunt. I believe Josh Scherer was there. Maybe Bruce Straley. I think he might have been there because he was the game director on that first one. And they were in the room and they were explaining what it was, And I said, okay, we'll read the. And I said, okay. And they said, whenever you're ready. I said, okay. And I kept looking at them, and typically at that point they would be on the other side of the glass, and I just say the lines. And I remember looking, going, "Are you going to stay here with me in the room?" And they said, "Oh, did anybody tell you?" And I didn't know. That's when they told me it was motion capture. And Gordon, our director, said, "Feel free to use the space." And I said, "Yes, the 9x9 room that I'm in with 5 other people."
Emily, what about you?
Yeah, well, I was directing. I laugh because my first meeting ever at Naughty Dog was actually when I was buying a car from one of the art directors there.
Oh, all right.
I wound up there because I was buying a Jetta off of Craigslist, and I was up in there, and I was like, "So, what do you guys do here? Oh, you make video? That's great. I'm going to school for acting. That is so fun." I'm like, "I'll sign the documents. Okay, bye. Thanks for my Jetta." And I drove around LA for a while with a Naughty Dog license plate frame on my car before I even got the job, and
wow.
who they were.
And the first audition was you and I together.
Well, no. My first audition, Gordon was my audition teacher at UCLA, so he brought me in, and I was the first audition of the day as they were setting up, because I was teaching high schoolers a play later that afternoon. So I went in and I looked at Elena and I was like, "Oh, this is totally me." But I was straight out of school. I didn't know how to audition, and you add on top of that, now that I know that it was a very weird audition, you're in a voice booth, you're auditioning for them behind glass, they're all sitting at the soundboard, but yet they want you to move around these foam panels. It was so awkward, and Gordon was like, "Well, we're gonna go with somebody else," and I was like, okay. So I got the part, though, through a callback from reading with him, but my first audition was very weird and wonky and crazy.
As most of them can be.
Yeah.
Would you guys like to see Nolan's weird and wonky audition? I think we have that clip to roll. Hit it, Silent Bob.
I think I can see the path again.
Yeah, well, slow down. Toxman could be waiting for us.
Nah, we left those clowns in the dust ages ago. Oh my God.
Oh, watch it.
Oh man, that's disgusting. I wish I had my camera. So what? The Spanish booby-trapped the island to protect their gold?
No, this wasn't made by the Spanish. Look at closer at the spikes.
You've got to be kidding me.
It's part of our plane.
No, but see, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, why would Tack set traps like this when his own men are crawling all over the island?
It wouldn't.
Which means there's somebody else on this island?
You catch on quick. Come on. We don't want to run into whatever was chewing on this guy. Why don't you stay behind me from now on?
Jesus, Victor, what the hell did you get us into?
I got the part. I'm glad I have pants that fit me now. Couldn't have them hemmed back then, I guess.
You
Wow.
didn't have that Uncharted money yet. You know what I mean? That's
No.
when you can hem your pants.
Wow, I don't know how I got the job off that.
Is it hard to go back and watch something like that?
I have a lot of trouble watching myself in anything. That's why one of the reasons I really like animation is because you always do the job first and then you get to see it later. Of course, with Uncharted, you're watching Nate run around with your voice and your movements. But, that's hard. I'm
Richard,
like, oh God, there had to be better.
How did you join the fray? Like, do you come in at the same time they are? Do you get to meet them and audition?
I came in, and again, to another...
Richard McGonigal, everybody! Yeah. He was a straight offer.
I love that. Thank you. I came in went into a different place than that. Before that space, we were in some weird place over in Burbank, around the corner and down in a alley or something.
This wasn't the audition, Richard.
I got the job. Gordon came out and got me, brought me into this room, and it was a big sound recording room, and there was glass, and it was just him and me in there, and he starts walking around the room and saying, this is this, and this is this, and you'll go from here to here and do this thing and here. And I said, what are you talking about? I thought this was a voiceover thing. He said, oh, I thought this was a game. And he said, yeah, it's a game. And I said, what, walking around? He said, motion capture. Motion what? I didn't know what he was talking about. And he said, this is a new thing, motion capture. And he explained it. Well, I went through that audition. Oh, God, I hope that's not on tape. Because I went through that audition, and I walked out of there going, well, there goes that one. Forget it. And the next thing I knew, I got a call back, and I went in to read with you. Yeah. And you were sitting there reading, just sitting in a chair with Gordon directing. Gordon Hunt, by the way. I don't know whether we've made this clear, but Gordon Hunt, wonderful man. And Amy Hennig, wonderful people. If it wasn't for them, this thing wouldn't have started.
Yep.
And God knows I wouldn't have had this wonderful job for so long, because this literally was the best job I ever had.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, Emily, when you guys are on set and you're doing this, do you think you're making something that is special, or does it feel like, oh, I'm just making a game, we're just all acting together?
Oh, I'm completely floored the whole time. This is like my first job out of school, right? And it's funny watching that tape, because when I watch it, you know, initially my first reaction is, oh yeah, there's Nolan and I doing our thing. And I literally just look at him and I go, wait a second, we didn't know each other.
We'd never met each other.
We didn't know each other there, but yet like the rapport was already there. And I think it was so special because on that stage, I was so stoked. I was like, I got a job. Yeah. And we're like playing, and there's Jeeps, and like we're wearing these things, and there's like balls everywhere, and I'm working with Gordon.
Markers. This day and age, we got to be very specific.
Very specific. and I'm working with Gordon Hunt as a director. Like, yeah, mind blown. It was, but as Nolan said, you know, I thought, well, this is this thing we're going to do, and you have absolutely no clue that we will be sitting here now, 10 years later, at all. Amazing.
We're here 10 years later because you all did so well. So thank you for that.
Well, Naughty Dog as well.
Yeah.
Naughty Dog, of course. There's a few hundred other people who touched the game to make it be great, but
yeah, you know what, and that's something that people think, you know, we get so much of the adulation, and you know, we get to come out here and talk to you and, you know, sign pictures and posters. But, you know, I really, hats off to, first and foremost, Amy Hennig, who created the whole thing. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, Gordon, our director, and that's the mocap side. And then it's everybody, you know, Evan and Christoph at Naughty Dog, who, you know, I watched them. They watched me grow as an actor as much as I watched them grow as a developer. I mean, moving into their new offices and then expanding those offices and then bringing Uncharted 2, 3, you know, Last of Us. I mean, the team there, every designer, every programmer. I mean, I couldn't get a job at Naughty Dog unless, you know, I could do what I do. But everybody there is so good, so qualified, so dedicated to bringing what you got to play. I mean, we were just as excited to see what they were going to do with what we did. Mm-hmm. So it's, again, I always go back to the word collaboration. It was just such a wonderful thing for all of us to be part of, and it was truly a group effort. We appreciate everything you give us personally, because, you know, my ego is
of course.
Oh,
So hungry. Somebody's got to do it.
But seriously, hats off to Naughty Dog. Thanks Sony, Naughty Dog, everybody, because it was a team effort.
Well, and one other thing too is, definitely. One other thing too.
One guy, he liked it.
After having, you know, like I said, it being a first job for me, as the years went on, I was working more, and I came to understand that what we had there as a process was so special.
Right.
You know, to come in and get a rehearsal day, to get to sit around the table, to get to talk about the scenes, to get to collaborate and have these voices and talk about the characters and what was happening, and then to get to put that on its feet the next day, and just to have the time,
Yeah.
and that think tank and that collaboration, that is what made this game so different.
Well, I mean, that's what's made the franchise so different,
Yeah.
I think, is the way you guys have all played together, whether it be the dogs playing with you or you guys playing with other castmates.
Yeah.
And I think it's time to bring out the rest of the voice actors, if you guys are down for that.
Yes.
Again, 10 years has spawned quite a few other characters in the Uncharted franchise. Let's bring them all out now. I don't know what order they're coming out in, so I'll call their names as I see them. Oh! Claudia Black, everybody!
Yeah!
Chloe Fraser herself. Come on out, join us on the couch. Laura Bailey, come to the stage. Oh, what's the Nadine Ross.
Woo!
Oh, Troy Baker. Never heard of this gentleman. Never heard of this guy. Oh, there it is. He's selfie.
I'll take a selfie.
Troy Baker looking good, making sure the rest of the world sees it as well. Now everybody's selfie. All right.
Oh, no. Quick.
Graham McTavish, come on down. Lazarovich, Cutter.
Face only a mother could love, huh?
This is awesome.
Hey.
Troy, give me a handshake.
Hi,
Good to see you. Come on.
Is it
Hi,
Glenn?
guys.
Robin Eckendale. Robin Eckendale.
Robin Eckendale.
Hi.
You took your selfies.
We have mini sofas. Mini sofas.
Knuckle up. No, we're not sitting.
We're not sitting, we're standing. What are we doing?
No.
I feel like I'm in
Now we're all sitting. Now we're all sitting. Now, please. All right. Well, here we go.
Sancti.
This is why I put off bringing you all out as long as possible.
Oh yeah, now the cats come out.
Because now,
Yes.
if you thought the panel was going to be off the rails before, now it's definitely up for it.
Just got R-rated.
Yeah. Here's where I want to start.
Yeah, thanks for the entrance, by the way. There was no warning. I was like, should I maybe go and wait up there? Oh, no, you're going to have plenty of time. I almost killed my...
You know what? I like to keep you on your toes.
Thank you.
That's what it's got to be.
Yeah, they're
That's
all
how I think it's
broken now.
No, they're fine. They're beautiful.
They're lovely. They're pedicured.
Yeah, exactly.
They are. It's a miracle. Continue.
Claudia and Laura,
Yeah.
Yes.
what's it like to be out here now on this stage with the originals
Yes.
when you guys just put out your Uncharted game, Lost Legacy?
Hey. Did you guys play it? Yeah.
They're saying that.
It feels pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels pretty good.
Yeah, if we
okay.
didn't like them, we'd probably be like, it feels like this.
I think, both Chloe and Nadine had so much more story to tell, so it was really great that we got to come back and
Sure.
tell some more of it, yeah.
When you start with these characters, you with Uncharted 2, you with Uncharted 4,
Yes.
are you ever thinking it'll go that way, where you're going to be the face of Uncharted?
No, because you think you're going to die, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're not there at the very beginning, I mean, we had last names, so we
That's
had a
true.
good shot of making
Yeah.
it through.
I'm sorry, the face of what?
Again,
I'm sorry. Were we
in this
ignoring
game,
you?
the face of Uncharted.
Did you see the cover for Lost Legacy, Nolan? Because
Right, yeah.
Is that a game?
there were girls on it.
Lost Legacy.
Okay.
Is that so? In Uncharted 2, how about that? Can I bring it back to other games you've been in? Is that okay? Is that? Because again, they reference you in Lost Legacy.
We did. We made fun of you plenty.
Yes,
Exactly, they made fun of
I've
you a
heard
lot.
from plenty of fans.
Yeah.
We actually had
Oh,
girl
too good to
talk
play
in
yourself,
the Jeep,
huh?
didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
It was good.
I'm not playing a game where the character Nadine beats the crap out of me again and again. Bailey and I are going at it after this.
It's all these giant muscles. I just can't help it.
My son saw the cover the other day and he said, "You look badass, Mama." And I said, "Thank you, sweet." He said, "But the girl next to you looks a bit more badass." That's reality,
True.
darling.
It's true.
That is the reality.
So then, Claudia, when you join with Uncharted 2,
Yeah.
are you expecting to die in that game? Are you expecting to just have? Did you feel like it was going to be another job, or did you know already how beloved the franchise was becoming?
I knew it was a cool thing, but still at that time, people were turning their noses up at video games. They didn't quite get it, and they
Yeah.
didn't know, no one could have really known what Naughty Dog was doing, in the fact, unless they were really in the gaming industry or playing games themselves avidly, no one in the film and television profession really took games that seriously. And I sort of came on at a time where you guys had proven that it was more entertaining to play a game like this than to go and see a regular movie. So it started to change the industry, and people were suddenly starting to take notice. And I was like, yeah, it's kind of a big deal. I didn't think they'd give Chloe, I didn't think she'd be that well written. I didn't think they'd put that much time and attention into writing the whole arc of all of the characters, the story, that there'd be that much detail. And I didn't think Chloe would get that much of a good run to sort of flesh her out, even in 2.
Yeah.
So to then end up doing Lost Legacy was really amazing.
Well, you originally came in and it was scandalous. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Nate and Elena are supposed to be together. You're in there, take his hands, put on your back. Like, you know what I mean? I don't throw around Homewrecker lightly, but
Oh.
you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, even the way...
Wait.
even the
There
way
was
I
no
was...
home yet.
Yeah.
We had something.
What? No, you know that. No! Nolan, no!
For a very short time.
Whoa!
Your wife is sitting next to you right now, Nathan.
There's no Uncharted 5.
PlayStation 5.
Well, actually, there might be.
Come on. I have to appeal to everybody. I'm sorry,
It's
babe.
okay. His real
We
wife
all
is
have
down
history.
at the end of the couch down there. Yes, the one with the beard right there.
There's a couple of us with beards.
Yeah, I know, that doesn't help at all.
There's 3 of them.
I feel like, I don't like how far away I am.
I don't like to choose.
I'm going to sit
I
next to
could
you.
come over this
Greg,
way.
put
We
your
could
hands
just-
Well, then I don't get to talk to you. What do you...
Why over here?
Oh,
That's
hello,
perfect, Robin.
Robin.
Thank you.
Why don't you... Robin,
Okay.
why don't you come and sit here?
Sit there. I'll come behind you and I'll give you the back rub while we talk.
That's a little. Ooh.
There's electrical shock.
With everything that's been going on, I don't know if this is a good
There's
idea.
so many confused faces.
Just get comfortable.
Fuck it,
Okay,
sit
all right,
over here.
What happened?
Now it's awkward.
See, this is more comfortable.
Robin,
Yes.
how many Uncharted games have you been in?
4. No, 5.
5?
I did 5. There was another one where I did some narration on
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Bloody hell.
What characters have you played, for people who don't know?
Let's see. I started out playing Navarro. Thank you. I then played. Well, actually, in the beginning, I was doing a game for Gordon Hunt, which was Just Cause, playing Rico Rodriguez.
Oh, I heard that.
And at the same time, I was working on a game called No More Heroes with Chris Zimmerman. So luckily, I was in the right place at the right time. Amy Hennig called up Gordon and Chris and said, "I'm looking for a guy who can do South America, and we're doing a test on a new game called Uncharted." So I was lucky enough to go in and do the first test. And so anyway, so it was Navarro. Then Nolan and I had a lot of fun doing some nonverbal communication as Tenzin.
That's right.
And then I followed up with Talbot, the irritating, I hated Talbot, fucking hate that guy.
Wait.
And then for 4 I did Arcana, which, I remember when we first did the reading, you're like, are you really going to go that deep? Yes, I am, Samuel. I'm going this deep. So
He said, are you really going to go that deep?
okay. Yeah, because...
Again, in this climate, let's just leave that one.
Well, what happened is because of Navarro is another Spanish guy, so like you've got to do something different.
Gotcha.
I didn't want to go up like this, so
Yeah, so you went.
I had to go
Great
down.
brother. So you went deep with the other one, but
that's right.
Sounds like a Guatemalan leprechaun.
So that's basically it.
a Guatemalan.
That's what they asked for.
You, I feel like, are in the Uncharted franchise DNA, but it's always Nolan always sucking up all the ego and the praise and stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, and that's the
That's
thing too.
Richard.
Like, you do different voices, right? Everybody on the first couch, they're just themselves.
Yeah.
They're just,
Yeah, we
Ouch.
can't do any other voice.
Ouch.
Claudia Black, so committed to the character, won't drop the accent. Like,
I'm also known for not only being Nolan called me the Condor because I had this crazy wingspan,
You really do.
but I'm also known for doing the mannequin pose.
God.
What
are you
is
gonna do?
happening right now?
What are you doing? What's happened there?
Mannequin
That was
nailed it. He
That's
nailed
great.
the mannequin pose, everybody.
Yes.
So have you been happy doing
Greg, I got to interrupt you. The one thing,
Jesus,
one of my
God,
favorite
no.
things that Robin ever did when he was doing Tenzin, never forget, he had to say something, even though, somebody else would come in Tibetan and dub him, and he lit it down, and I wake up and I go like, where am I? And he goes, and I swear, he just went, Bing Dong Shearshaw. And I laughed as hard. I think we had to stop and break for lunch early. He just looked at me and said,
Yeah.
Is that
I digress.
We had so many laughs. I mean, that was the best. I think it was the best part about working on this franchise is, in between the work, obviously, you know, great actors up here, and when it was time to get down to doing the work, everybody was really serious, and we knew that we were a part of this amazing franchise that was doing, you know, just incredible things with every test they'd show us. So we knew we were part of something big. But in between, it was just so many laughs and a lot of fun. You know, Nolan is like on all day, just doing different, you know, characters and rude things to keep us all entertained. But you know, it was really
Very
just
rude.
fantastic.
Graham, tell me the rudest thing from the set of Uncharted.
Oh no,
I can never tell
You could never tell. All right.
No, I would be. I just put my hands out to be handcuffed immediately. No, it was hilarious. I mean, honestly, it's one of the happiest, if not the happiest, set I've ever worked on, and that is genuinely a lot to do with what Nolan does. He's great at creating that atmosphere, and it does add to the workday. I mean, you know, of an 8-hour day, you might actually get an hour done.
Yeah.
But it was hilarious. I mean, Richard, we used to stand around and watch him crying with laughter.
That was
Well,
that was the
hopefully
goal.
laughter.
That was our
It
goal.
was laughter. He
Our goal was
crying
to
with
make
laughter,
Richard
wasn't he?
cry.
Not just crying.
Nolan would
Well,
make you
sometimes.
laugh at things that were so disgusting. Like you couldn't, you
It's so
almost like
wrong.
threw up the laughter. And you, why am I laughing at this? You felt like a horrible person for actually.
Yes.
Because
finding it
deep down
amusing.
we all are horrible people.
True. That's
I just bring that out.
Speaking of horrible people, Troy Baker.
Good segue.
Fantastic segue. I was wondering what it was. I'm actually happy that it wasn't, because he was talking about, you know, normally you have Nolan that's sucking it all up with the ego. Is like, if this is my segue, you should stop.
Troy.
Yeah, man.
What was it like to come on to Uncharted 4?
I literally just like put this up on Instagram or whatever, and I'm not being glib. It literally is a dream come true for me. I started off with this when it was 10 years ago. That my first foray into this franchise was as a gamer. I was playing it, and all I wanted to do was be a guy that got killed by Nate Drake. That's all I wanted to do. And even when they were doing 2, there was this one studio that had like 3 different studios, and so you kind of like bounce back and forth down the hall, and it was a very narrow window to look into the booth. But I saw that it was Nolan and Richard and Emily were in there, and they were doing the in-game VO for 2. And I just tapped on the window. I was like, "Hi," and I was like, "Hello," because somebody was in there with me. I was like, "Hey, if you ever need, anybody," I was like, the worst.
You were that guy?
I was that guy. For that game,
I'm just gonna slip my headshot under the door.
I'm not that guy. It's like some people have like, "This is my pen, so whenever you write it, you can always think of me." That's not me. But I was like, if you ever need him, it's like, "Thank you so much." And they closed the door. I was like, "Oh," and. That was on 2, and then cut to 4. I get to not only be in the game, but I get to be a Drake. I get to be a Drake brother, and it was. Yeah, I love that character so much. I love Sam so much, and there was one moment when my first day on set, I walked out. I'm wrapping it up. It was my first day on set, and I look out, and we started the scene off. It's a Richard, Emily, and or Richard. It's a Sully, Elena, and Nate scene, and I'm just kind of off to the side doing my thing, and I look, and they all go into T-pose, and they start the scene, and I'm like, it's no longer Richard and Emily and Nolan, but I'm watching Sully and Nate and Elena, and this moment just, oh, I'm on the set of Uncharted. And it freaked me out. So yeah, and then I just got to walk out on stage where everybody that I've respected their work and have played and shouted horrible, horrible things at, both on set and in the game. I'm here right now, so I'm good. I'm good.
Richard and Emily, what's it like? You guys start this game 10 years ago, this franchise, but then to welcome each one of these into this. Is it awkward? I'm sure you know each other through this, that, or the other, but to bring them into this family, is that weird?
Depends on which one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair.
Yeah.
Can you clarify?
Yeah, just a little bit. Getting a little nervous down here.
We knew we were lucky. We had a great thing going, and I mean, actors for the most part, journeyman actors like us, we're happy to be working. And if another actor comes in, come on in, join the family. And we get to know them, and we get to know their quirks, and Nolan berates them constantly, and we see what they're made of. And all these guys pass the test.
It's
and here they are.
amazing.
If we come back, we belong.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's fantastic. It really is fantastic because it just completes the world, you know? It really completes the world. And to me, being a part of an ensemble is always such a treat because you just get to kind of sit there and watch what's going on and you learn so much and are just honored to be there. It just is like, it's the best.
It was interesting, too, when Uncharted 2 came about. I was asked to sit and help cast. And it was the best thing that ever happened to me as an actor because I'm on this side. I'd read the scene, then the person would leave and we would discuss. And I realized everybody was so good. Everybody was good, but that person was right. We had a few people we were kind of debating about, Chloe Fraser.
What?
And then, you'll like the ending. Really, we're dating, you know, and we weren't quite sure. And then Claudia came in, I just got from LAX, and she's dropping things like, oh, and my hair, well, okay, well, what is this? And I remember she just started reading, and we're like, I remember going, that's Chloe. I mean, and she left, and we all looked at each other and go, well, that's Chloe, and everybody was in agreement. Same thing happened with, I think, Steve Valentine. Actually, Graham McTavish was up for Flynn or Lazarevich, and we weren't quite sure.
You got one of the roles, don't worry.
No, because did I get one? No, again, you'll like this too. I'm not going to be a jerk. He was phenomenal. He was an amazing Flynn. He was a great Lazarevich, and we were like, well, he's going to get one of them. What? And then Steve Valentine did something interesting, and it's like, well, that's Harry Flint. So he became Lazarevich, and then later Cutter in 3 because he had that rapport. So everybody was so instant as to who they needed to be, except Robin. Because Robin was basically everyone else, you know, and he was just so good at everybody else. So
yeah, we had the scenes where I was either Tenzin or a Talbot, and then I'd come back in and get killed by Lazarevich, and then come back in and get killed by Drake, and I was like.
but it seems like a revolver.
I mean,
do you remember the early things?
Why couldn't we
get shot?
You wanted to die, like
I was willing to do it. Robin's like, please tag someone.
Yeah.
No, in the early, I think it must have been 2. We shot.
His name's
Robin was playing one of the guards, and he gets shot, and he goes down, and then we start. Then the scene moves over here, and Robin got up and ran around to be another guard. But it worked. It was just, it was amazing. Everybody here was just perfectly cast.
Richard, you played a guard.
I played a guard, yes.
Yeah.
I played a guard in 1.
Yes.
And ruined the scene.
What? Perhaps, Nolan, you could describe the expression on Richard's
We're doing
face
this scene. You were there that day. We're doing this scene where in 3 when Cutter's been drugged and he turns the gun, and oftentimes even I was a guard, or you play, you just fill in to fill in the world. And they asked, and we looked over and Sully, we'd done this side, and they put Sully over on that side. And we looked up, we're like, it's a serious scene. She's like, no, don't shoot him. We looked up, and he's got that. And it was just like
an ape.
I just thought, right turn, Clyde. Graham and I burst out laughing. What's going on? We look over. And just, Grape Ape was over there. And then, again, let's break for lunch early, because we're not getting anything done for 30 minutes while we all...
You do something that's interesting, though. If you ever have to do, like, an extra, you always... What is it you do?
Oh, anytime you see any soldier run with like
He had a
kind of
limp.
a limp?
Yeah, it was you every
That's you.
time.
Yeah, I'll do it. Guys, got that. I always said he had a real foot but a wooden leg.
Every animator at Naughty Dog is like, son of a.
Yeah. If you play the part where the guard's chasing Nate down the train after
You're like the Steve McQueen of video games.
he runs down the thing, and that's you'll see him hobbling down this.
Pathetic.
I like
You
that
had
you
to play
chased
a
after
guard.
yourself. I did. I was a
Laura
guard
had
in
to
Las
play
Vegas.
guard for me, and we were working with the child actor. You're constantly reminded, never children, never animals. She found out about craft services.
She did.
And started making demands increasingly about the certain thing that she liked, which was kind of like her crack. So when she'd had a lot of it, it became impossible. We didn't know what to do.
That was the way we got a lot of the scenes done. We just handed her beef jerky.
She was amazing.
She had to
but,
have beef jerky.
No one was watching. No one was able to keep tabs on her. It's like if you're in multiple spaces, there's no one adult that's able to keep track of what you're doing at any given time. So she was like, this is like Disneyland, and I'm going to just go for it.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what any child would do. And then she'd come onto set, and she, you know, it was like, well, where's all that food? Where's it gone? And Laura was like, I'm going to be the guard.
I'm
now.
the guard. I'm the guard.
Gonna-
Pay attention to me, right here.
What's happening here? It's fabulous.
Laura, for all these on-set stories, is it fun to break character and have these laughs and you guys are all friends, but how do you go from joking around, making fun of Nolan North, of course, an easy target,
That was like
jumping
did you hear that? That was a Tommy Wiseau laugh I just said.
to being like back in character and being Nadine?
No, it actually works out really well because Nolan is constantly berating everybody that he's with, and so it really sets up the scene for when you want to just kick his butt.
She was genuinely.
Got to earn it.
Yeah, the scene where I had to take on both Drake brothers.
Yeah.
That was, yeah. And you heard it, and they constantly made jokes about it, just like that, during the scene, and so it really made me want to.
Well, but you know, again, going back to casting, Laura was an easy cast because she was the best person for that role.
Yep.
And we've known each other for so long. It was like, oh, it's like, great.
was
This
gonna
rapport.
kick my ass.
Like with Troy, you know, when he came on to be the brother, it's like, people, you're like, oh, this would be cool. You guys work together. It's like, we've worked together. We drink bourbon together. This is a friend of mine.
Yeah,
this
there's
will be
something great
cool.
when you can trust the people that you're in a scene with so
Yeah.
much. And
Well,
you-
except Richard.
Yeah.
Except Richard, yeah.
Wandering hands.
Again, Nolan, in the climate we're in, you can't. Oh, a lot has changed in 10 years.
We're both from New England. It cancels itself out.
I don't know if that
I
holds
also want to
up.
say it was an extremely relaxed set. There was no pressure, and I think Amy Hennig really set the tone for that. You were just sort of, there was no pressure to nail anything the first time, although we usually didn't. But you know, just coming in, having that relaxed table read, block it, and then just sort of figure it out. And she built a lot of the characters based on things that had happened. You had some type of phobia one day, right?
Yes, Cutter had claustrophobia. Yeah.
Yeah, but you made that up.
That became the character, right?
People don't know that. Graham McTavish said, wouldn't it be funny if he had claustrophobia? And she said, well, what would that look like?
Yeah.
It was amazing.
And he did it, and we all laughed. And she goes, no, I like that. And then later on, that was what
Anytime
was
he
the
went into
impetus
a
for him
tiny
to get
tunnel.
into the fight with Nate when he
Yes.
was drugged. Otherwise, we wouldn't have had that. That would have been something else. So it was little improvisations and ad-libs that people brought in. You know, again, collaboration. Everybody was willing to listen.
And she really
make it
was,
happen.
you know, sort of the mastermind behind it. I mean, she had she never directly asked for anything. It was just sort of things that were suggested, along with Gordon's direction. And
Yes.
all of a sudden, she was sort of molding, you know, characters and the storyline.
And we'd have conversations between scenes. Just Nolan and I and whoever would be having conversations. And I was in the Navy, and I had a lot of stories. And,
None of which are repeatable.
Oh, here we go.
We won't talk about them, but I had a lot of stories.
So you're telling me, so a lot of the Sully stories that are told in the game were based on
The
reality?
next time we got together and we'd go in for the read to do the rehearsal, the first reading of the scenes, and we're sitting at the table, and all of a sudden all this stuff is coming out. I look at Amy, and she goes,
Wonderful.
yeah.
So Nolan, with all that, those years, all these performances, all this rehearsal, all these auditions, all these people, all these relationships, what is it like when they come to you guys for Uncharted 4 and they're like, this is the end of Nathan's story?
We cried.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was bittersweet, but, you know, I know I don't. It was always funny. People ask, like, what was your favorite one to do? And I say 3, only because if you look at it like high school, like Uncharted, Drake's Fortune's like freshman year, nobody knows you, but you become popular. And then they like you. But then sophomore year, you captain the varsity football team, you're the prom king. I mean, it was like the greatest. So you know junior year is going to be amazing. And all your friends are back, and we're going to do this thing. And then they say, we're going to do 4, but that's it. And you're like, and when we were doing 3, we knew 4 was going to happen. But then it wasn't going to be anything past that. So it was kind of like, 4 was a great experience, different because Neil Druckmann directed it, and you know, with his success with Last of Us, he was fantastic. He walked right in, you know, and it was, you know, a difficult thing to do, but he took over the mantle and, you know, gave the fans a great game, and Lost Legacy, as everybody has seen. But for me personally, it was like, wow, this is it.
Yeah.
And it's like, I got to get a job or go to college now. and I hadn't applied anywhere. So it's like, you're like, oh no. And so it was, you know, and so many people said, oh, are you going to be in Lost Legacy? Are you going to be in another one? It's like, well, you can't really have your hero walk off in the sunset and then go, yeah, check that, I'm coming back, you know, unless it becomes like, you know.
I don't know. Anthony Hopkins has retired about 4 times, hasn't he? So I think all the greats, darling, retire and come back.
I'm no Anthony Hopkins, but I love you for putting me in the same sentence. Met him once in an elevator. Lovely man. Excuse me. I cornered him once in an elevator. Lovely man that he didn't press charges.
No.
In this day and age!
Yeah.
Emily, what was it like for your final scene on set?
Oh, it's just totally surreal.
She wasn't there.
Yeah, I wasn't there.
I played her.
Oh, okay.
Completely.
What an
You'll notice the last scene she had.
What an image. Oh my.
Completely surreal. I mean, like I said, I graduated grad school, got the job, and, you know, through the course of my time on Uncharted, met my husband, got married, had 2 children on the games. They allowed me to, you know, I was pregnant and working and on this game, and so much life had happened. So to be on the other side of it and to be saying, you know, goodbye, it was weird because in some ways I felt like, I'll see you again, this isn't it. But in other ways, it's like, wow, this is it. And I think the hardest part is just like saying goodbye to a character.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You got to know these. You
Yeah,
got to know her.
you like, I know it's cheesy, I'm getting emotional, but there's a piece of you that is so attached to these people that you get to walk in and live these lives that you've kind of dreamt to get to dream, like, as I know, because it's like this is a big deal for like the 10 years, but it is. To say goodbye, like, we feel that same way.
Richard, you said it was your favorite job.
Oh, absolutely. It was, I mean, like so many people have said, the collaboration that we got to experience on this, because we were always allowed to speak up and say things, oh, what if we do it this way? Or just in the middle of a scene, don't even ask, just change something. And everybody was so fluid that we could change something and everybody would go with it and move on, and we'd turn the scene in a different direction. So to have that kind of a freedom as an actor is rare and exquisite, because most of the time it's do it the way it's written. And I can understand it with Shakespeare. You screw that up and you're going to throw the whole thing out of it. But with the stuff that we did, it wasn't Shakespeare. It was so much fun. Just so much fun. I miss it. And getting back together with these guys has been such a great kick, because The best. Hey, I got enough land. I can build a barn.
Let's do it.
Barn. I bet you can, Richard.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sully ever invites you to his barn.
Don't go.
Final question for me goes to Nolan and Emily. Were you guys happy with the ending, where the Drakes end up?
I was, because so many fans were. I've met so many fans all over the world now with some conventions in different places. I was in Saudi Arabia, and they talked about the ending. And there are only... people talk about the ending of Uncharted 2, that we ad-libbed the end. Clowns. But so many fans have been so satisfied. They said, I cried. I mean, men, women, it doesn't matter what age they, to close off something like that and have the fans be so profoundly moved and satisfied with that ending.
Yeah.
It'd be terrible if you did like the Sopranos ending, and it's just like, Sully, hey, why don't you... You're like, people are like, what? I'm like, snap, click. It's just, I think your reaction and the overwhelming support we've had with the ending, I can't imagine it being any different.
I think yes, it's the great thing that I loved about 4 that we got to do, and when I'm proud of it and I'm still showing it off to people, like I'll be on a set somewhere and some crew guy will be like, that's where I know your voice from. That's where it's from. Or somebody that doesn't know the game, I'll pull up the still of the picture of Nate and Elena on the couch at home, just hanging out as husband and wife, and I'm like, I just kind of show it to people. I'm like, where do you see that in a video game? Right. Come on now. Just like the day-to-day, the rapport, that to me was so satisfying. Because we always used to joke about, and when we were doing 1 and 2 and 3, like, hey, what happens when, like, Nate goes and works at Home Depot? And they and honestly, that's
and climb, get those nails.
Yeah.
Way up there. I got it, sir.
We always joked about that. So to be able to see that happen and just that comfortableness was really great, and I think a really lovely way to wrap that up.
Now, I've been lucky enough that Uncharted has gone literally my entire career talking to you all about video games. So obviously it's something incredibly special for me. This is the point in the panel when I'm supposed to wrap up 10 years of possibly the best PlayStation franchise of all time.
Who knew?
I do not feel that is my place. I do not feel I deserve that honor. So Nolan, would you like to take us home?
Oh boy.
No.
Careful.
God, it's such a great opportunity to berate and make fun of stuff right now, especially Greg.
All right.
But you know what's something? I thank you all for what you've given me. This has transcended being the best job I've ever had. This is the best experience of my life. It's changed my life. It made me a better father, better husband, better actor, certainly. And I have friends that I will have for the rest of my life. I mean, really good friends that you can count on. And so this was more than a job. This was something that just changed me. And I have all of you to thank for it, everyone at Naughty Dog, but mostly my friends up here. Nathan Drake was great, but Nathan Drake's nothing. It's a one-man show without everybody else. There is no Nate with Elena, without Sully, without Chloe, Nadine, Sam, Cutter, Lazarevich, maybe not. And miscellaneous down the end. But these are all the greatest gift. The greatest gift that this job gave me is my friends.
Don't trust Drake.
And so and to Greg, who's been a supporter all along, who has just
I really went out on a limb,
but seriously, people ask me, am I going to miss Nathan Drake, playing him. Yes, I am. But you don't have to, because there are 5, 6 great games if you want to play. If you have your
PlayStation Vita,
the
we call it.
PlayStation Vita. Go on, play Golden Abyss. By the way, Golden Abyss, yay, thumbs up. Guys, people there. So Nathan Drake never has to go away. Okay, you miss him, throw him in your machine or whatever, download it.
Put him in the VHS box there and get to playing.
And I think the best way for me to go out with this is to tell you all that I plan on now, for the first time ever, playing all the games in a row. I lived it, now I'm gonna play it. You should go too. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's your panel, 10 years of Uncharted. Give it up for these voice actors, please.
Thank you.
Thanks, buddy.
PlayStation